TIL that the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas changes the gender signs on bathrooms based on the gender makeup of a crowd. This allows them to provide more female or male bathrooms depending on the event. It also prevents long lines for bathrooms. When I went to Taylor Swift with my wife at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it was great. I went to the bathroom with impunity. Zero lines. I saw a design once where the two bathrooms were separated by a movable wall, so you could adjust the number of cubicles in each. I remember going to a festival and heard a couple comments slating me, a man, on why I was paying for a cubicle in the arena instead of just going to the urinal area. Doesn't take a genius to work it out. Okay, but how do the ladies use the trough? I've seen bold women skip the line and head into the men's room several times. I don't remember any guy doing any more than glance and shrug. I went to a Zac Brown concert at PNC Bank Arts Center in New Jersey and they did this very poorly. They repurposed half the men's rooms as ladies' rooms. My wife told me there were about 20 urinals not being used in each new ladies' room, where I had to wait an hour in line to pee. I vowed to never go back to that venue for this reason. Huh. Interesting. I'm assuming they're all private cubicles then and not urinals? In which case, just go ahead and make them all unisex. Rogers Place in Edmonton does the same thing during some shows. I bet a lot of people accidentally go into the wrong bathroom thinking they remember where it is. So the restrooms are gender fluid. Okay. But does the Arlington AT&T Stadium know why kids like to sell propane and propane accessories? I tell you what. In early 2007, I went to see Iron Maiden in Irvine, California. I had been to the venue before and always had to wait in line forever. I am female. The Iron Maiden concert was the first time I went to the restroom to see only 4 females in a 15-plus stall bathroom. It was weird. I had to go back outside to check I was in the right one, and then make sure it wasn't flooded or something crazy explaining its emptiness. The men's line was so long. I had never seen that before in all my days. And I am a lot of days old. This seems to be a great idea. Madison Square Garden does this too. It's funny because the closest bathroom to my usual seats is a ladies' room that is turned into men's for hockey, so it's all stalls. Funny to see a men's room without urinals. As a nurse who has attended several nursing conferences, I've seen this in action at several venues. No lines for the men's room, but I usually have to walk a half mile to find one. Few civilized people and your gendered toilets. My hole in the ground welcomes all genitals. Carrot and carrot, sometimes carrot bears. This is common. In Orlando I saw Taylor Swift. Tons of relabellied men's women's rooms. Few months later, go see Rush, the opposite. Year later, Linkin Park, even distribution. Edit, key members of Rush and Linkin Park have died since I saw them. This was 5 years ago-ish. I bet it makes the troughs in the men's room awkward when they switch it to a ladies'. So there aren't urinals? Also, what happens to the couch inside the women's restroom and that little area where the couch goes that kinda just looks like a mini lobby? The featured image makes it look like some sort of gender transformation room. Men in then women out. Why not just make all the bathrooms unisex? The last few years of comic/gaming expos I've been to have all been gender-neutral bathrooms, and it has been amazing. BlizzCon, and the 3X comic and entertainment expos that are around me have all been gender-neutral bathrooms. This happens in many venues. As long as the girls don't poop in the urinals, I'm okay with this. The lines to the men's room vs women's room at football games is a joke. I'd love to see this more. It's pretty standard practice in that sort of place. I remember when I went with my grandmother to this massive arts and crafts event. She was a painter and had a stall there. There were lines on female bathrooms and nobody on the male ones. When I went there the next year, lo and behold, all male bathrooms but one were converted to female. Slightly inconvenient for me since it was all the way on the other side, but a major time saver for thousands of old ladies. This would have helped when I went to Lilith Fair and got to pee in the men's room trough while a line of girls waiting for the stalls watched. Before one of them just dropped her pants and sat on the side of trough next to me to use it. So do women just squat over the piss trough? Interlock arms for balance maybe. They do the same at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit as well. Most event spaces in Japan do this too, but they just stick a printed out sign over the existing one. The men's toilet is always, the furthest away. I saw AT&T Stadium and just expected sad Cowboys news. I can't believe I never knew that, despite living in Arlington. However, I did know about the fact that the lanes on the streets nearby can be changed in order to accommodate everyone driving to or from the stadium before and after the event. They do this in Detroit at Little Caesars Arena. For the NKOTB mixtape tour, they hung signs over the men's rooms and made them for women. Made sense, because so few men were there. Brilliant idea. Joe Louis Arena in Detroit was the worst for this. Twice as many women's johns as men's. When a hockey game is majority male, guys would just use the women's, regardless of who was in there. They do this at AAC as well. Saw Panic at the Disco for the wife. All bathrooms were women's. I was told men had access to the family restrooms to use only. Potty parody goes high-tech. And that's the story about that one time when grandma took a shit in the urinal. I went to a Chainsmokers and 5SOS concert with my boyfriend at KeyBank Center in Buffalo, and the line for the women's restroom were insanely long. I ended up just going into the men's room with my boyfriend and got out before the line could even move. It reminds me with what they do for bypass lanes during rush hour here, switching them for different directions based on traffic needs in the city. Are they assuming everyone's gender? Monster truck event? More male bathrooms. Beyoncé concert. Only female bathrooms. One time I, male, was at a conference in San Francisco at the Moscone Center. I had been having some stomach issues, so I left one of the presentations about halfway through to avoid having to wait in line during the break, and because gurgle, I sprinted down the hallway to the restrooms at the back of Moscone West. No one was in there, so I picked a random stall and let loose the fury of gastrointestinal distress that likely was heard out into the hallway anyway. As I sitting there, I noticed that the wall of the stall had a basket/trash can thing on it, and since I had worked a place in high school where I had to clean the restrooms, I knew good and well what that basket was for. That was meant for feminine hygiene product disposal. My mind started racing and wondering if I had run into the women's restroom instead of the men's in my panicked sprint. The Hershey 500, fine. Whatever. I'll just hurry up and finish before anyone enters the restroom. But then I heard a voice of someone talking on their phone. I couldn't tell if it was a man or woman's voice. It sounded very feminine, but really you just can't tell in an echoey restroom. I figured the sessions were letting out, so I made a decision. I was going to stare at the floor and just run out if it was a woman. I wiped, flushed, and got up the nerve to exit the stall, prepared to run. It turned out that it was a dude and I was in the clear. I noticed on my way out of the restroom that the signs were set up so they could be changed. No wonder you can't find a men's room when the Cowboys are playing. Do the urinals also change into toilets? I see a lot of urinal jokes here, but how does this actually work? Do the converted men's toilets just have 50% less capacity for women, or do the urinals spin around like a secret door revealing a toilet, or what? Girls gonna be hella confused when they go to the bathroom and there's a urinal there.